Haven't posted a video in a little while, and the reason for that is just because there's been a crazy amount of stuff going on. I'm not even going to go into it. However, gosh, it's a mess behind me. Sorry, guys. I wanted to go ahead and do a review for this this new version of Lauren's book. I said that I would do this after I finished reading it, and I have finished reading it. This is volume 3 of Lauren Rennells' book, Vintage Hairstyling, which all of you know I have sung the praises of since the very first volume came out. I love Lauren Rennells' aesthetic. I like, even though there's a lot of people out there who do vintage styles, I feel like hers is the most, it's the most in keeping with my own personal taste. I like vintage styling to look smooth and soft. I don't really like it to be too voluminous because on me it's not very flattering, and also because I like to go for a more authentic vintage look. So the fact that she redid this book is very exciting for me, and the very first huge selling point for me is the fact that it is spiral bound now, so you can lay it flat and look at it while you are doing your styling, and that has been already invaluable. I have already started, I read it from cover to cover, and I have already started by utilizing or actually using the instructions for the very first style in the book, which is called the Lily. It's this one right here. And of course her hair is longer than mine, but I'm thrilled with how it came out. I think it might be one of the prettiest styles I think I've ever done on myself. And I've done similar things on my own, but I feel like there were a few little steps in this that made it just a little bit more, I don't know, it made my hair feel like it just looks a lot fuller and a lot thicker, and I think a lot of it had to do with her styling instructions. So thrilled with this. I think it is so pretty. And my hair, of course, is shorter and much finer than the girls here, so she has a lot more hair than I do, but the style, as you know, I feel like all of her styles work well on any hair type because you can just kind of sort of hone it to your own type and texture, and that's one of the things I love the most. She uses a lot of heated sets in her books, and I do not use any. So every single time that you see me do a style from her books, it's done with a wet set, and this one was done with foam rollers in the back and bendable rollers along the top so that there wouldn't be a big line up here from the crimps. And then I think I also did just pin curls in the front. Now the first version of the book, volume 1, I do not have. I've actually used it before and I've actually seen it before, but the first one that I received was the one that she sent me back right towards the beginning of when I started my channel. It was volume 2, and I used it until it is dog-eared and dilapidated. But this one has a lot of extra styles in it, so yes, you get a lot of extra stuff, but not only extra styles, extra tips, and extra tool pages. Like there's an entire page in this one that is dedicated to the aesthetic of the different decades, which I think is really important, especially if you are looking to go to some sort of era-specific event and you're wanting to channel a specific time period. A lot of people have a lot of confusion when it comes to what is a 20s look, what is a 40s look, what makes it that. And this is just a very simple and concise way to explain to you what differentiated those different decades. So this page in itself, invaluable. But also there are so many great new pages. Of course, you've got all your old favorites, the information on just shape and just outline and silhouette, of course. And then there's, of course, your pages on tools, which includes a lot of new tools and a lot of new products that are recommended. I love that because she is somebody who's constantly honing her own style as well. So for her to be able to share her own you know, discoveries and knowledge when it comes to new products she might be using or slight variations on products that she might be using, that's really helpful for us as well, because we may not have the time to put into researching and finding things that maybe improve our current technique. So that's very important. A whole bunch of extra information on tools here. I mean, and the fact that she has so many of these tools on her website, let me just say how great that is, that you don't really have to go a lot of different places to find these tools. Some of these you'll find at Sally Beauty, some at Walmart, and then some you can actually go through and find on her own website, the Vintage Hairstyling website. So I know she has the wrap, snap, and rollers. She has the pin curling tool and the roll and go tool. These are all things that have become like huge staples in my own styling kit, so I know they're going to be super helpful for you as well. And she, of course, will give you a bibliography at the end with information on where you can get those tools. In addition to the tool pages and the pages about curls and placement of curls, curling methods, then she goes into very basic styles like that one that I tried out today that I love so much, the Lily, variations of that style. There's information on wet sets, which there was in the other book as well, but this is a lot more, I feel like this is a lot more detailed when it comes to information about avoiding a weak curl set, not shying away from frizz, ways to use end wraps, which I have always found very, very useful to have the information on end wraps because a lot of us don't really know how to use them. And then she goes through all of her signature styles. I like the way she teaches you individual methods to do things and then showcases a style that you may be able to use that method with. This is a great, great tool. So it kind of helps you to develop your skills as you're reading the book. There's pages on brushing and shaping, Marcel waving, of course, and a nice combination of different styles that are for both wet sets and dry sets, which I think is great. I was going to show you a couple of the new styles. There are two versions of what she calls the Rita, which I think we can all see what the inspiration for that style is. But there are a couple of different options. So that is a new style in the book. I'm going to show you a couple of the new styles, just the photos, just to show you why you need this one in addition to the one that you may already have. There's a combination of great short hairstyles in here that I'm super thrilled to use while my hair is kind of short as well. I know that you guys were crazy about the 60s styles in the old book, and she has done a lot more 60s styles in this one. The rolls, the victory rolls section was kind of sparse in that original book. I'm always looking at the wrong place. I think my camera can. I'm so sorry. The rolls section was kind of sparse in that last book. I've always kind of felt that way. This time, no worries. There is a very long 2-page demonstration of how to do rolls in general. Victory rolls is what most people call them, but really they're just rolls. There are scads of tips on placement for the rolls so that they don't look weird. And then there's the example styles that feature the rolls. This is a style very similar to the snood option 2 in the old book. She has a lot of girls in here with beautiful Technicolor hair, which I am a huge fan of. So I was so crazy about some of these because the features of the styles just show up so well on this bright, beautiful hair. There is one girl in here who has the most gorgeous hair that looks like taffy. But yeah, all eras, 40s, 50s, you're going to have there are so many new styles in here. I just can't believe how many new styles she has put into this book. This is one of my favorites. You'll see this one. That's the girl whose hair looks like taffy. There's a whole lot more short hairstyles and wet sets in this book than there were in the original book. I'm crazy about that idea. There's also great tips on using the braided switches, the false hair in styling, because that was another thing that I think is just so important to be able to incorporate. And then of course she's got her little standard little makeup tips. Nail polish tips. A few extra pages on there. And then one of my favorite features in the old book was seeing the before pictures of the different models so you could get a general idea of what their hair looked like before it was styled. She's done that, but this time all of them are featured on the back, so it doesn't take up space on the instructional portion of that style. I think that's really handy, but of course it's still extremely valuable to be able to look and see what those girls looked like beforehand. So my feelings on the book in general, I was going through the entire book, the second volume, doing my wet set styling journey. I like this so well that I'm going to start over, starting from scratch. I actually started with the first style, the Lily, and I'm going to keep going with my wet set version of every style in this book. Even the ones that are completely outside of my hair length, I'm going to try to do with extensions. We're going to see how it works. But I am a huge fan of Lauren's. I think this book is invaluable. I think if you are someone who is even a novice to vintage hair, that this is something that you can grab a handle on. It's so helpful to see the styles from all the angles, the way that she does them. And I just think that there's something everyone can learn from it. And even if you're somebody who has difficulty with written step-by-step instruction, the pictures are so helpful that I just think that it makes it so much easier. But definitely think it's a great, great option for everyone. And I am excited to try the rest of them. Thank you so much, Lauren, for this beautiful, beautiful rendition of your book. I think so many people are going to find it helpful. And again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I will shoot them over to Lauren, of course. You can buy this book at the link that is below. And I think that you're all going to find it so, so helpful. And again, if you don't have the other book, totally start with this one. But this one is got so much more valuable information in it that I think that you should just splurge and get this one. It's great. Yep. 3rd edition, Lauren Rennells Vintage Hairstyling. Love it. It's, to me, the most cohesive vintage styling book that there is. So, that's just my 2 cents. Bye.
I like it, I like it, I like it real fine. I like it around me all the time. I like it, please give